Hello my peepers, welcome to Weekly Reads. I'm supposed to make these videos on Fridays. It's Sunday. What can I say? I wasn't up to I didn't feel like it. Let's be honest, and I'm a procrastinator. So there, all honestly, full disclosure, I'm lazy. What else can I say? So, I decided not to do my morning videos anymore. Mondays will be FlossTube and Fridays is Weekly Reads. And I will talk a little bit about what I'm watching on TV at the end of the Weekly Reads when I get done talking about books. My book talk is short. I don't go on and on and on about a book because once I'm done reading it, I kind of forget things anyways. Yes, I am that kind of person. I am glad I'm not the only one. I'm finding a lot of you on TikTok that when you're done reading a book and you start the next one, you already forgot the last one. Yeah, that's me. I forget characters' names. So I would need to take notes, and I plan on doing that. But I'm just going to I will read to you what the book says it's about, and if I enjoyed it, if I didn't, and why. That's about it. I will give you my star review. So usually a 1 star is I hated it and I DNF'd it. 2 is I just didn't like it. 3 is it was okay. 4 is I really, really liked it. And 5 is I loved it. Couldn't put it down. Really, really need to go on to the next one. Now 4 is also like that. But 5, a 5 star has to give me all the emotions, and I'm staying up till 2 or 3 in the morning because I have to finish the book. That's a 5. So that's how my star ratings go. I know everybody is different. I don't rate on the spice because there's something new to me is reading the spicy books, which I started last year. And I don't know how to review a spice. If it gets a 1 spice, a 2, a 3, a 4, or a 5. I have no clue. So if it's spicy, I'll just tell you it's spicy. I got my water because when I get talking, I need my water. Okay, so for my first weekly read that I have not done, I used to do a Friday tea time. I used to, tea with Friday reads and community news, like on the coloring, diamond paint, and all that stuff. I stopped doing that. I do know that those were my highest viewed videos. So, but we're going to get going on reading about books. Now, I don't know about you, but my TBR is probably 9 lifetimes long, and I just want to read them all. I don't want to do anything but sit and read, and clean the house in between. But I got my cross stitching, so I listen to as many books as possible. So when I say I read them, sometimes they're audio books. I still count it as reading. I know some of you won't consider that being counted, but you know what? Listening to them, I know how to pronounce the names of the towns, the kingdoms, and the characters' names. Yeah. It's the same thing. People that are blind, they aren't reading, they're touching. That's Braille. That still counts as reading, you guys. Anything that gets you pulling out a book is counted as reading, in my opinion. Okay, so let's get started. I did get an audiobook from the library. So, and if you want me to pause in between while I'm looking for stuff, I can do that. Just let me know, because I don't edit. I don't know how to edit. And I don't want to take the time to edit. I want to give you content, get it up there. If I have to edit and take all that time, I'm not going to feel like making videos. That's just probably the laziness in me. I don't know. But I did have one audiobook that I got from the library, so I used the Libby, and it was 5 Broken Blades by May Corland. I was not expecting to like this, and I'm trying to get this, there you go, 5 Broken Blades. Like I said, I did not expect to like this, you guys. I didn't. I don't know why. I will tell you what it's about. Peanut says, I want to come in. Peanut likes to be in here, but the last few times I brought her in, she was getting into stuff. Is that it? Nope. 5 Broken Blades. There you are. So I read this from June 25th through June 28th, and the description is the instant New York Times bestseller, It's the Season for Treason. The King of Yusan must die. The 5 most dangerous liars in the land have been mysteriously summoned to work together for a single objective: to kill the god King June. He has it coming. Under his merciless immortal hand, the nobles flourish, while the poor and innocent are imprisoned, ruined, or sold. And now each of the 5 blades will come for him. Each has tasted bitterness, from the hired hitman seeking atonement, a lovely assassin who seeks freedom, or even the prince banished for his cruel crimes. None can resist the sweet, icy lure of vengeance. They can agree on murder. They can agree on treachery. But for these 5 killers, each versed in deception, lies, and betrayal, it's not enough to forge an alliance. To survive, they'll have to find a way to trust each other. But only one can take the crown. Let the best liar win. So, yeah, so you have 5. Some of them are paired up together. Some of them are women. And I really enjoyed this. What did I give it for star rating? What did I give it? I gave it 4. There is a second book coming out. I don't know when. Let's see if I can find that out for you. Amazon, or no, let's go to Fantastic Fiction. And author May Corland. Oh, Corland. And the next book comes out January 7th. So you would have to wait if you like to read. And I don't know how many books. This says it's the sequel. I am pretty sure it's a duology, but don't quote me on that. I enjoyed all the characters in this. The book moved right along. Each chapter is a point of view of a character, but you'll know who it is because it will tell. So that helped. I listened to it as an audiobook, and it still told me, chapter 3, and then it would tell the name of the POV of that chapter. It was easy to keep up with. It's a fantasy. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I gave it 4 stars. I highly recommend it. I can't wait for January for the next one to come out. The cover is really pretty. You got the 5 blades. The cover is really pretty. So I enjoyed that, and now I need to send that back to the library because it was due tomorrow. So I'm returning that now. Okay, go back to the shelf. I have another audiobook, and I'll tell you about that. The next one that I listened to, and I own the book, I had Crown of Midnight, Sarah J. Maas. It's the second book of the series of Throne of Glass. So I read Assassin's Blade first. Some people say read it first, some say read it third. I read it first. I'm glad I did. Then I read Throne of Glass, which I had read that years ago when it first came out on BookTube. And I couldn't remember it. So I'm like, okay, I'm really going to sit down and read the series this year. So I did Throne of Glass a week ago. Really enjoyed it. And then I pulled up Crown of Midnight. And since I wanted to listen to, and I have the first books that came out, when it first came out, I have these issues. But I don't have the last two books of the series, and I can't get them with these covers. So, yeah. And I have the, I did read A Court of Thorns and Roses last month or the month before. Absolutely loved that series. And they also have my editions are with the people on the front that came out when it first came out. So, and I'm missing the last two books of that series too, of the cover. This, I liked Throne of Glass. Loved Assassin's Blade. Liked Throne of Glass. This one, I think I gave it 3 stars. Let me see. Where is it? Crown of Midnight. So I read it July 2nd through July 4th. I gave it 3 stars. It says, one of the best fantasy book series of the past decade. Time. Never trust an assassin. Selena's story continues in the second book in the #1 best-selling Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. Selena Sardothian won a brutal contest to become the king's champion, but she is far from loyal to the crown. Though she goes to great lengths to hide her secret, her deadly charade becomes more difficult when she realizes she is not the only one seeking justice. Her search for answers ensnares those closest to her, and no one is safe from suspicion. Not the Crown Prince Dorian, not Kael, the captain of the guard, not even her best friend Nehemia, a princess with a rebel heart. Then, one terrible night, the secrets they have all been keeping lead to an unspeakable tragedy. As Selena's world shatters, she will be forced to decide once and for all where her true loyalties lie and what she is willing to fight for. The second book in the #1 New York Times bestselling Throne of Glass series returns readers to a land destroyed by liars, where one woman's truth is the only thing that can save them all. Like I said, I only gave it 3 stars. I found it very slow and boring. But you need to read it to read the rest of the series. I've heard the series gets better. I don't know. I'm hoping so, because I have a lot. And I'm keeping these. I don't keep all the books I read. I don't have room. But if the covers are gorgeous, I keep them. So I kept the ones that I own for A Court of Thorns and Roses, and I'm keeping this series. Yeah. Love the colors. So the next book is, does it tell on the back? Heir of Fire. I think Air of Fire is the next one. Yeah. Air of Fire is the next one. I will be listening to that on audiobook maybe this week. I don't know, because I do have a audiobook from Libby that I just got, so I need to listen to that. But Air of Fire's next. I do own the book. So sometimes I listen to the book on audio, and then I also read when I have the time to read it to keep it going. Now I had 3 arcs. I told you I am a hot mess, you guys. I'll show you this because it's already up here. So the book that I got from the library as an audiobook is for a book club book for the month. It's Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. Just for the Summer. I know, it's hard. There it is. Just for the Summer. I will have the links below for these books. I wonder if I turn this off, if that's better. Just for the Summer. Not much, is it? Just for the Summer. Abby Jimenez. So, yeah. Jimenez. I don't know how you pronounce it. So, that was for a book club that I'm in for the month of July. I read 3 arcs. I am a fast reader, and I have a lot of time to read. I like to read at night before I go to bed, and sometimes I'll get so engrossed in the book it's like midnight. But I don't have to get up at a certain time in the morning. I do for the next 2 weeks, for a couple days. But that's okay. So, I read Dishonestly Yours by Krista Ritchie and Becca Ritchie. Dishonestly Yours. Yeah, that was good. That was a good book. See if I can find it. Dishonestly Yours. I read it from June 26th or June 28th. I gave it 4 stars. The description says, starting fresh is the only way Phoebe can escape a life of crime. But her best friend's older brother complicates honest dreams in this gripping new series from the authors of the Addicted series. Phoebe Graves grew up in a family where deception and seduction are as commonplace as breathing. The Graves and her best friend Haley's family have been on the run their whole lives. But after a high-stakes con job goes south, Phoebe and Haley decide to run away and start over. The small Connecticut town they settle in seems too good to be true. The biggest flaw in their plan is Haley's frustratingly handsome brother, Rocky, who insists on coming with them. Living honestly isn't in his DNA, and his past with Phoebe is downright messy. He's everything she wants, but nothing she can have. Phoebe worries that Rocky will tempt them back into their old ways, where lying is second nature. She doesn't want Rocky to mess up the new life she's begun for herself. The longer she stays in town, the more she realizes what it means to have a reputation, and what a normal life with the man she loves could look like. So, Phoebe and Haley are best friends. Phoebe has had a crush on Rocky since they were kids. And we're finding out Rocky has had a crush on her since they were kids. And both of their mothers are trying to get them together. Yeah, they are a con artist family. They move from town to town. They go after the wealthy people, and this is how they make a living. And the last con job they did, something happened with Phoebe, and you don't find out till the end. So you do find out at the end of the book what happened. But it's Haley's idea, let's go on the run, and we're not going to tell our parents. And eventually all the brothers, they all, like, Haley has 2 brothers, and they are triplets. Or no, Phoebe has 2 brothers, and so the 3 of them are triplets. Haley has a brother, Rocky, and she has another brother. All the brothers do end up showing up. But these 2 girls get a job at a country club, and then Phoebe starts fake dating the owner, or the owner's son. It is good. I really enjoyed it. I was so engrossed in this, I was up late one night, and all of a sudden the book just ends. And I'm like, wait. And I'm flipping, and it doesn't flip anymore to the next pages. It left you on a cliffhanger. What? No, I need it now. So let's go find out when the next book comes out, because I need that as soon as possible. Okay, so we have Krista Ritchie. Krista and Becca Ritchie, and it doesn't say. They have a lot of books, but it doesn't say when the next one comes out. So they are on one of my lists that I want to read, Addicted to You series. They've been on my list for a while. I don't know when I'll get to it. I enjoyed this, though. I was so engrossed. I'm like, okay, what happened to Phoebe? We know something happened on the last con job. We don't know exactly what happened till the end. You'll find out. And Phoebe and Rocky together, yes. Yes, you can feel the attraction. You can feel the chemistry between them as you read in the book. So that was good. Highly recommend that. Then the next one that I read, okay, I'm going to delete this one. I permanently delete ebooks once I read them because I'm not going to read them again, and it takes forever to scroll through everything. Okay, so then I read The Night Ends with Fire by K.X. Son. The Night Ends with Fire, K.X. Son. So, I did like this. The Night Ends with Fire. Let's see if I can show you a picture of what it written out. So I read this one from June 29th to July 1st. 3.5 stars. Description. The special first edition hardcover will include a gorgeous shimmering jacket with effects, brilliantly illustrated 4-color end papers, striking and detailed stained edges, and a beautiful foil stamped case. And I was trying, and it won't let me show you. Maybe I could find it somewhere else. Infused with magic and romance, this sweeping fantasy adventure inspired by the legend of Mulan follows a young woman determined to choose her own destiny, even if that means going against everyone she loves. The 3 kingdoms are at war, but Mylan's father refuses to answer the imperial draft. Trapped by his opium addiction, he plans to sell Mylan for her dowry. But when Mylan discovers her husband-to-be is another violent, ill-tempered man, she realizes that nothing will change for her unless she takes matters into her own hands. The very next day, she disguises herself as a boy and enlists in her father's place. In the army, Mylan's relentless hard work brings her recognition, friendship, and a growing closeness with Sky, a prince turned training partner. But has she simply exchanged one prison for another? As her kingdom barrels toward destruction, Mylan begins to have visions of a sea dragon spirit that offers her true power and freedom, but with a deadly price. With the future of the three kingdoms hanging in the balance, Mylan will need to decide whom to trust. Sky, who inspires her loyalty and love, the sea dragon spirit, who has his own murky agenda, or an infuriating enemy prince who makes her question everything she once knew about her kingdom and about her own heart. And so I gave this 3.5 stars. I enjoyed the storyline. It was a little slow for me. I never saw Mulan, so I don't know. You know, it says that it's a like retelling of Mulan. I don't think I ever saw Mulan. But it was an arc. So these 2 arcs were from NetGalley, and I still need to put my review up on Goodreads and my blog. They are up on TikTok. So as soon as I finish a book, I make my TikTok videos, because while it's still fresh in my head. And the TikTok videos are no more than 60 seconds long. I don't know how many more books there are for this series. I do want to finish the series. I do want the next book. So KX Song. Yeah, it doesn't say when the next book is or how many. But yeah, I do want to continue with it. I did like her. Once she found out that she had this power, things got more interesting. But they are going to war, and so it was a little boring. It was a little slow paced while they're going to get there, and I don't know. It was okay. Then I got an arc from AK Nevermore. I got 2 of them. It's a series. The first book is Breeder, and it's a prequel. Breeder by AK Nevermore, and it is a dystopian sci-fi dark romance. And I read this in one sitting. I don't think there was many pages. I gave it 3.5 stars. So this description is: what you don't know can kill you. Before Kara met Flynn, she was property of the Source, the genetic research facility owned by a powerful international conglomerate dominates the Northern Hemisphere. Valued solely for her DNA and her talent to bind matter together, when she receives her summons to breed, she panics. Rescued from the brink of death, she's offered the chance to escape and find her own destiny. But the journey through the desolation of the outside is fraught with peril, and the golden halos marking her as a talent also paint her as a target. Kept ignorant of everything beyond the facility's walls, Kara grapples to survive in the hostile wasteland. Humanity purists and roving gangs are only a fraction of her problems, because the Source and Regal, her contracted mate, aren't just going to let her walk away. So we find out that she is a breeder. She's in the lab to have babies, but she's only mated with one person. He's a violent person. She wants nothing to do with him. So with the help of someone else, she escapes. And she ends up on the run. She meets up with this creepy guy, and she thinks he's going to attack her. And so she attacks him and she escapes, and she ends up with Flynn. Flynn's not too happy about it. But Flynn's supposed to take her up north to get her safe so that she can't be found. So that's how Breeder is. And then the second book is Breaker. And I'm reading that right now. I have 2 hours left in the book. So Breaker, let's see. Yeah. So Breeder, I am now going to delete. And I am now reading Breaker. That's Breaker, aka Nevermore. I'm on chapter 18. I have 2 hours left in the book. And Breaker says, let's see. And yeah, I'm probably giving this another 3.5 stars. So, Breaker says, self-exiled to the outside, Flynn Scott is oath-bound to a life of strict penance. Cursed with a vicious temper and haunted by the blood-stained debauchery of his past, Flynn's sworn off women, whiskey, and violence, and doesn't give a damn about whispers of the coming war. He sure as hell isn't in the mood to make good on a debt when it's called in, especially when playing White Knight outs him as a talent, and the damsel in distress as his soulmate. On the run from her future as a broodmare for the source, escaped talent Kara Jester is no distressed damsel, and the last thing she wants is to be trapped in a blizzard with a surly and frustratingly captivating thug. Without the suppression meds holding her libido in check, her biology's primed to procreate, and Flynn's growled assurances that he won't touch her doesn't match the hunger in his eyes. It doesn't align with what fate has in store for them, either. With elite troops hot on their heels and the border set to close, it's a race to the north, away from Kara's horrific future and towards the dark past Flynn wants to keep buried. Clinging to the shreds of his oath, he's forced to choose between protecting the woman he's afraid to love and letting out the animal he swore he'd never be again. Either may destroy him if Kara's secrets don't get them killed first. So yeah, so they're on the run. He wants to get up north. His father is a king or a lord, something like that, and he's next in line, but he doesn't want any of that. And he's close to, it's his grandfather or his uncle who has always been there for him. So him and Kara are going to go meet up with his uncle or his grandfather, and the source shows up at different points trying to get her back, but she is no little weakling. Let me tell you what, this woman can kick ass. So like I said, it's a dystopian sci-fi dark romance. I am enjoying it so far. This one will probably get 4 stars. There's been a lot going on in it, and so she is now Flynn's wife. You find that out in more towards the beginning of the book, that he's made her his wife. And so these two are on the run, and they use their talent to get there. I like this, but it's going to take you also from them going to where the source is and who's out after her to get her back. And that Regal guy, he is a piece of shit, let me tell you. She needed to get away from him. So that's what's going on right now as far as what I've been reading. And what is next it will be that Abby Jimenez books, One Last Summer. Was that what it was called? Just Last Summer? So whatever that audiobook was, I'll be listening to that this week. I'm hoping to get to the next book of this series. And next weekend is Shadow Lounge Readathon Marathon. It's a Facebook group. They're yeah, I didn't bring that in here. Their readathon starts Friday night at 6 p.m. till 6 p.m. Sunday night, but it's very low key and laid back. There's no prizes, nothing like that. I start mine on Thursday night. So I don't stitch anything from Friday morning until Monday morning. I don't stitch it all next weekend because I'm a huge cross stitcher. So I usually am listening to books while I'm cross stitching, and my weekends are my biggest cross stitching weekends, even though I don't work. So I take off that whole weekend and I just sit and read and read and read and read. So my goal is to get as many of my arcs from NetGalley read. So the next ones that I need to mark these off. Maybe. I don't know where my pencil case is. It should be up here, but I don't see it. Oh, it's right here in front of my face. So let me mark off the arcs I already read, and then I will tell you what I want to get to. Okay, so there is one arc I am not going to read. I will explain why. So I have The Forbidden Girl by Kristen Zimmer. I support the gay community, LGBTQ, whatever all that is. I am not against it. I support them. My oldest son is in that. I support it all. I'm not interested in reading the books though where it's female on female, and that's what this book is. I didn't realize that it said mafia romance. I love mafia romance. But myself, I'm not interested in reading a book that's female on female. I'm not interested in reading books that are male on male. I do like Why Choose Romance though, where there's a female and several males, and sometimes the males are together while she's with the other males. That don't bother me either. I don't want to read it. So nothing against the community, as I said. Absolutely support them. Everybody needs somebody to love, and it's your business. I wish my son would find someone. I really do. I wish that he would find someone, but he's happy being single. It is what it is. I'm just not interested in rereading that. So, with that said, that is one book I will not be getting to. So next weekend I will be reading On the Surface by Rachel McGuire. Let's see what's next after that. One Big Happy Family by Jamie Day. The Au Pair Affair by Tessa Bailey. A Body in the Backyard by Lucy Score. The Ex-Vows by Jessica Joyce. And the last one is I'm Her Mother by Lauren North. I usually can read 5 books on a readathon weekend, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, The Ex-Vows by Jessica Joyce. I'm hoping I can get to all of these. So tomorrow, let's see, I will be reading some of these during the week because I read in the evenings before I go to bed. And I forget what the next book is, but I need to download it because I need to take, hold on a minute, I gotta put this on pause. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So I have to take my son's girlfriend's daughter to summer school 3 times this week and 3 times next week. So while she's in summer school, I'm going to go hang out at McDonald's, get a coffee, and sit and read. So I will be reading my arcs from NetGalley. So I always try to read all the arcs from NetGalley the first 2 weeks of the month, and then I can read from my TBR. Also, my list for the TBR, like I said, is like probably 9 years long. I probably have 200 physical books on my shelves in the other room. Plus, I have about 600 Kindle books. And I probably have that many arcs from NetGalley that I never ever read, because when I first joined NetGalley, I was signing up for everything that I could. I could not keep up. I no longer do that. And as this year is going on, I'm requesting less and less and less. I'm trying to keep it down to two to three a month. And then I think it's going to get down to the point where I may just do the read nows or the audiobooks. Because my TBR from TikTok and my physical books is so long, I need to get to those. Also on TikTok, there is a hashtag, and I can't think of the name of it because I didn't bring it in here. But it has a list of like the top romance books, the top sci-fi books, the top romantasy, fantasy, you name it, there's a list for it. So I'm trying to read from those as well. The 5 Broken Blades, that was on one of the lists. That was the first one on the list. So I already got to that list. And I am not doing like the whole list, then moving on to the next. I'm reading like what's on the top. And then I'm reading something from my TBR, whether it's a series or a standalone. Then I go to the next list, the first one on the top, and then the next. I also have started series years ago that I never finished. I have 6 of Crows, and I have the next book. I read 6 of Crows, right? Is that the first one? What one's the first one? Yeah, I read 6 of Crows. I need to read Crooked Kingdom. But because I can't remember what 6 of Crows was about, I do still have the book, but I'm going to try to get it as an audio book to listen to it. And I do own Crooked Kingdom. I did read Shadow of Bone, Siege and Storm, Ruin and Rising. I did read those years ago. I don't remember them. And then I see that it says 6 of Crows is the 4th book, Crooked Kingdom is the 5th, and then there's 2 more, and I didn't read any of those. So there is a new novella out, or new novel out by her that I want to read. So yeah, there's books like that that I read like the first book of the series, and I may own the rest, and I need to finish them. There was another one by Samantha Shannon. What was that series? Samantha Shannon. The first book was The Bone Season. I remembered I loved that book. I don't own it. I do own The Mime Order. I want to finish that series. It was really good. So I have series like that where I owned the first book, read it, liked it, and never got back to it. So that is also another goal that I am looking towards. James Patterson. He has a lot of series, but I really want to get caught up on Alex Cross and the Women's Murder Club. The Women's Murder Club, I think I'm only on number 8. So those 2 series also. J.A. Jans has 2 series. I want to get caught up on those. So I love to read. I also love my audiobooks. So I told you I have a lot of Kindle. I have a lot of Net Daily Arts that I never got to. Audible. Does Audible tell me how many is actually in my library? This is another crazy one. Yep. Because a lot of them are free as long as you have a membership. I'm keeping the membership so I can listen to them. So let's see if it tells me how many is in my library. I clicked on library. I don't know if it's going to tell me how many is in my library. We'll find out. This is slow. This is a Kindle Fire. I have had it for years. And another reason why I delete a lot of stuff, even though I own it in a library, they're not downloaded. It won't take up space. All titles. So, I have 208 titles in my Audible. A lot of them were free. Some of them I used my credits. And out of 208, I have finished 15. Yeah, because A Court of Thorns and Roses, they were free for a whole month. So for that whole month, that's what I did. I listened to them. So yeah, I have 208 minus 15, so around 200 audiobooks. Yeah. Plus I have Chirp, which are audiobooks, because when they have Stuff Your Earbuds days, I have them go to Chirp first, because they don't go to Audible. So how many do I have? I don't know. It doesn't tell me how many is in my library, but I have a lot. I have a lot in my library on Chirp, and then I have Kobo books, and I have a lot in my Kobo books, but I am told that I can't listen to them unless I pay for the Kobo. So I'll wait. Yes, see, it only says I have 4 ebooks in Kobo and a ton in audiobook during Stuff Your Earbud. So I will wait, once I get a lot of them in Chirp and Audible, and then I'll pay for that and I can listen to them. So yeah, I have a ton. Do I buy any more? Once in a while. Like, I've read The Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. The next book comes out soon, and I already pre-ordered that. I read the series Twisted, Crossed, Scarred. They're all by Emily McIntyre. The next book, I think, comes out in November. I pre-ordered that because I'm keeping the collection. So there is some books that I keep my books. I did get a book in the mail this week. It was gifted to me. And it's One Last Rainy Day by Kate Stewart. I did read this when it first came out. I read it on Kindle Unlimited. But this was on my wish list. I have a TikToker that I absolutely love. Her name is Rachel Dane. Love her. She's mostly always crying and talking about the Raven Hood series. I leave comments on just about every single video, and because of my support, she sent this to me. Which is good, because even though I read it, I wanted to own the paperback to go along with Flock, Exodus, and The Finish Line. There is another set of books coming out and that's Tyler's story from the flock, from the Ravenhood. This is about Dom. So yeah, I do get books once in a while. Faded in Ink and Blood, that was last month's book club book of the month. I purchased it, and that's a duology, and the next one, I don't know if I know when that comes out. I will be getting that because the cover's really pretty and I really enjoyed the books. Okay, I'll tell you a little bit of what I've been watching on TV. I always watch General Hospital. So I've been watching General Hospital. I'm caught up. Michael Easton left as Hamilton Finn. His character went to rehab for 3 months. I don't know if it was Michael Easton's choice to leave the show or if they asked him to leave because they're going to recast him as someone else. I don't know whose choice it was. I just know he's done on the show. I don't like it when they do that. The writers need to stop replacing actors and actresses because they're moving them in a different direction. I cannot stand the new Christina. No. She's a nosy little busybody, little bitch. That was not like her character at all. The Molly that they have playing Molly is this little wimpy thing. Molly was a very strong woman. I know that the other Molly, the one that played Molly, got a DWI. They will not be bringing her back. I don't know why. All these people are like, well, because she got a DWI, you can't get your job back. How many of you know of people who have had a DWI that did not lose their jobs? You don't lose your jobs because of a DWI unless you are a truck driver, or I even know that there's a couple of state troopers that have had DWIs. They didn't lose their job. They weren't on duty when they got them. They were on vacation. Yes, it was wrong to get a DWI. And yes, I feel bad for families who are victims from DWI drivers. Yes. But she didn't cause any harm to anybody else. She shouldn't lose her job over that. I'm sorry. We all make mistakes. Every one of us has made a mistake in our life. Did we lose our jobs over it? Mostly? No. Anyways, off that. I'm against DWIs. Yes, I'm against drunk driving. I have never done it. If I go out with my friends, I have a drink as soon as I get to the bar, and then I switch to water all night. Nope. Never have, never will. That's just not me. Okay, so that's on the subject of General Hospital. I finished watching, finally, The Vikings. That show is so intense. It is so full of action and blood and gore and just, it is so good. It took me since last summer. I tried binging as much as possible. I loved Bjorn, his father, and Lagatha, and what's his other, Bjorn's brother, Uba, loved him, and his wife, started with a T, Tori, something like that, loved them. So Ragnar was such a messed up person that I'm like, I don't like him. He's mean. But when he died, oh my God, the sobbing. I cried and I cried and I cried. Could not stand Ivor the Boneless. I did not know that this show was based on the real people of the Vikings. I did not know that. Just my son Dylan is the one that got me watching the Vikings. He stopped watching it because he didn't have time, and I'm talking to him about it. He goes, well, you know, that Ivor was really mean anyways in real life. I'm like, what? These people are from real Vikings? I mean, I know the Vikings were real, but I didn't realize that the TV show was based on these real people. And he says, yeah. So I started looking up. I hated history in school. I didn't like having to remember all of this stuff. I want to know what's going on with us now. So for me to get engrossed in the show and then realizing it was based on real people, I now want to get books and learn more about them. I want to learn more about Ragnar and Lagertha. I do. They have a book out just on them. So I guess there's been a couple other books that I've read that were fiction and were stories, but they were based on some real things or real events. I got into those because they made it interesting to read about that. So then I can't tell you how many TV shows I have on a wheel app. Spin the Wheel app. They're all on there. Anything from shows in the 70s up to brand new shows. Shows on Peacock or Apple TV, Paramount, Netflix, Disney. They're all in this. I don't own Amazon Prime, so if it chooses something that's on there, I'll skip it and go to something else until I get Amazon Prime. So when I finished the Vikings, I'm like, okay, let's see what comes up next on my wheel. So I spun the wheel. Necessary Roughness. There was 3 seasons on Peacock. It is good. So I started watching it. There's 12 episodes in the first season. There is 16 episodes in the second season and 10 episodes in the third season. I'm going on the 5th episode of season 2 when I start that today, when I pick it up today. It is really good. So the main character, it starts out with her finding out her husband's been cheating on her in their guest bedroom. There's videos on his phone. So she kicks his ass out. They've got 2 teenage children. She has a son and a daughter. She is a psychologist. She gets hired by the local football team they're called the New York Hawks. And they have a player on there who's always in trouble. He's drinking and womanizing and all of this stuff. He's always making it on media. So they hire her to straighten him out. And so each episode, she still works with him, but she's also working with other athletes, and not always as a New York Hawk. She's worked with a golfer. She's worked with a, what did he do? A skateboarder. This last episode I watched was rollerball. Yeah. Yeah, there was more. There's a lot more she works with. Oh, a baseball player. So she works with a lot of athletes. It is really, really good. I am enjoying the show a lot. And they have different actors and actresses that I noticed from other TV shows. The one guy in there, he works on the team. He played Riley in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He was in the military that Buffy was seeing for a while. They have Rob Estes been on it a couple of times. And he's from Melrose Place. There's been a lot. John Stamos, I guess, is in an episode or 2 on season 3. There was another guy that was on there. He plays in Hallmark movies. So it's been, and this series ran from 2011 to 2013. So it is an older series. but you're seeing these people from other shows that you used to watch. So I'm finding that really cool because, I'll be watching it going, why do I recognize that person? Then I have to go look up, see who they are, and then find out what they've played on. So I'm enjoying watching these TV shows. I don't know what next. As soon as I watch the last episode of Necessary Roughness, then I'll spin the wheel again to see what's next. Like I said, if it's on Amazon Prime, then I won't watch it, but I will hide the slice until I can get to it. But my TV shows, my cross-stitching, and my books, that's my life. I don't leave the house much. I deal with anxiety. The anxiety is getting a lot better, but I also deal with IBS, and that's not fun, because if there's no restroom around, I'm in big trouble. So I don't leave the house too often. I do have 2 sons. They are adults. They don't live here. My youngest son has 2 sons, so I have 2 grandsons. I do babysit them once in a while. And I'm married, so my husband, lives here, of course. And he works 2 jobs, so I don't always see him. We don't watch the same things. So we kind of do our own thing, We go for car rides together. We eat together, of course, dinner. But other than that, he has a living room. I have the family room. I watch TV in there, I read in there, I cross-stitch in there. I pulled out my diamond painting this weekend, so I do a little bit of diamond painting. I also do a little bit of coloring. So this channel started out with booktube, then I added in my cross-stitch, then I added in my coloring and diamond painting, and then I started making morning videos. Well, I did the morning videos for 2 years. So now I'm done with that. It was a good run while it went, but I'm going to go back to just doing FlossTube and these weekly reads. I'm going to try to make these weekly reads on Fridays as much as possible. This week should be on Friday, and I'm hoping to share quite a bit of books. We will see how this week goes. It should be okay, though. I should get quite a bit of reading done. But that's it for today, and I hope to see you next time. Let me know what you think. If you liked how I had this set up, where I told you the description of the book and then what I thought of it. I don't go into great detail. Some of these booktubers can talk 5 to 10 minutes about one book. I can't do that. It sounds to me like they are repeating themselves over and over again. I'm afraid of giving away a spoiler. I don't ever want to give out a spoiler. So my reviews are short and sweet. That's how I do mine. I can let you know what I plan on reading next, which I just did. So I plan on reading those books from NetGalley, plus that audiobook for the book club, and listening to the next book from the Throne of Glass. So those are what I'm focusing on for this week. So let me know what you are reading, what you plan on reading. Do you have a favorite series? Do you have a favorite author? I can't answer that. My range of favorite genres ranges. I like anything from a cozy mystery to a horror to a dark romance. I read anything. Some historical fiction. I've read a couple I absolutely loved, and then some I don't. The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna was one of my favorites. Someone told me to read it. I'm like, I'm not going to like this. I don't like these kind of books. Loved it. So I can't say that I won't read historical fiction or historical romance as long as the story is good. I loved the Bridgerton series. I don't like the TV shows because I loved the books. So, goes to show you, we all have different tastes. Favorite authors. I love Danielle Steele. I love James Patterson, Lee Child, John Sanford. But I'm also into the fantasy. Loved Harry Potter. There's so many fantasy series I love. So for me to have a favorite genre or a favorite author, I just can't do that. I like too much. It's whatever I'm in the mood. I love vampire books. Sookie Stackhouse. Oh my gosh. Loved the books. Loved the TV show, but the TV show was way more graphic, way more violent than her books were. Her books were more of a cozy type to me than what the TV show was. So, and I'm like that with TV. Look at the Vikings. Oh my gosh. I only watched it because I watched a couple episodes with my son Dylan. I would have never picked that up to watch. So, yeah, I vary. I have an eclectic taste of everything. My cross-stitching is the same way. I can go anywhere from a Shannon Christine and Dorina Jones little cutesy thing on up to a witchy stitcher. You never know. And I love Halloween. Anything Halloween. I love full coverage. Right now I'm at this point where I wish that's all I had started was full coverage. And that's all I had going. Am I going to stitch anything else? Of course. I have over 200 whips. They're not all full coverage. Yes, I plan on finishing them. That's the plan. Now we'll see what happens. So you got a little bit of what this channel is like. Stay tuned because you never know what's going to happen here. Love you guys. Bye.